It's the iPhones. It's so high tech that they have to use the technology.
Group interpretation.
And so, yeah, so basically ours is,
Got a script?
we have a script. We can't touch each other or look at each other. It's not like play acting where it's memorized and you can interact. It's like all four of us are a group, but we're all separately presenting together. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. And then we interpret a piece.
It's like
my lines.
Yeah, it's like you take a book, it can be serious, or in our case it can be funny, and you just take excerpts and you're supposed to interpret it and present it and how you want to show it off.
Yes. And then we move.
And then, yeah, and so this is how we like to show it off.
I know this was easy.
Look at all that space.
Okay.
We totally set.
Are we good?
We're good. Is John okay? Stay cute, it's fine.
Many monsters suffer from psychological problems.
Does that vampire stay in because sun will burn him to ashes?
Or because he has social anxiety disorder.
Is a zombie moaning about brains because she's hungry?
Or is she projecting her insecurities about never going to college?
More troubling, it is almost impossible to tell if an invisible man has been cutting himself.
You will find monsters who are sad.
Misunderstood.
Discouraged.
Lonely and
Demonized.
particularly the demons.
But inside each of them is a human.
Or at least parts of one.
So next time you cross the street to avoid a Frankenstein staggering towards you, stop. And ask yourself who the real monster is.
We've all been there.
Lying in bed, awake at night.
Just waiting to fall asleep.
When all of a sudden you hear, you get out of bed and walk towards your closet door.
Creak, creak, creak.
You arrive at the door, turn the handle, open up to find
The boogeyman,
Crying on the ground, eating a tub of ice cream.
sad monsters.
growling on the outside.
Crying on the inside.
By Frank Lesser.
The mummy's curse. Cankles.
I am a hideous monster.
I really let myself go for the past 3,000 years.
At least I'm covered by rags so I don't have to see myself.
Although, I have to say, vertical wrapping would have been way more slimming.
And those crocodile-flavored Slim Fast shakes are disgusting.
And here's what the priests don't tell you about mummification.
Sure, it'll cut down your weight, but
You still gotta deal with the cellulite. Nothing gets rid of that stuff.
You think literally being skin and bones would help me feel good about myself?
every ounce counts when Anubis is weighing your heart against the feather of Mont.
To determine if you're worthy of the afterlife.
Or you're just a disgusting cow. Moo. And fashion trends.
One season it's linen.
And the next it's gauze.
Centuries ago, the gossip papyruses said vicious things about my weight.
Falcon, river, serpent, eye, river, hippo.
Vicious, vicious things about my weight.
Falcon, river, serpent, eye, river, hippo.
Ever since, I haven't had a bite of the mummified falcons entombed with me for the afterlife.
Okay, I know I got a few of them.
But I didn't eat the wrappings.
Who am I kidding? The wrappings are the best part.
I disgust myself.
Everyone goes on and on about how well preserved Nefertiti is.
Well, just between you and me and Ahmed the Devourer of Souls,
She had some work done.
It's easy to look supple when half your face is ox skin.
I think I could be completely happy with myself if I could just do something about this ghastly nose.
I found the perfect nose on a tourist.
But she wouldn't stand still long enough for me to take a picture.
So I brought her actual nose.
The joy of unicorns.
Hey, preteen girls!
Put down the rock and roll music.
And listen up. If you give up your virginity before you get married, you'll miss out on something far better. Befriending a unicorn.
What? In medieval times, a virginal maiden would sit alone in the woods until a unicorn
enchanted by her purity,
Approached and
laid.
its head upon her lap.
The reason there are so few unicorn sightings today isn't because they are mythical creatures, but because of modern society's
Moral depravity.
This is why you will never see Lady Gaga.
Riding, riding.
A unicorn.
don't fret if you're ready given into temptation.
Unicorns are forgiving creatures.
To a point,
If you take a purity pledge, you won't get to pet a unicorn.
but it might still accept your Facebook friend request.
If you've had more than 4 partners and you so much as wave at a unicorn,
The beautiful creature will gore you with its deadly horn. Harsh.
But a fate far better.
Then the crippling sexual diseases you know have contracted as a result of your escapades. You suck one goat.
Dear News of the Weird, editor.
I'm ready to correct several inaccuracies in your article about the mysterious creature you call.
El Chupacabra.
The goat sucker.
First off, I have a name.
Ernesto.
And while I appreciate your interest in my goats and accomplishments, grading livestock is just one of my interests.
For instance, I'm an experienced ballroom dancer.
And while it's true my dance partners are goats, whom I train right before the tango's completion,
It makes them easier to lift during the dirty dancing finale.
I also play competitive chess. Bishop to E4.
And on my own business selling hand-knitted iPhone cozies.
I'm not accusing you of overt racism.
When you report on us, you always question the witness's reliability.
When you're interviewing about the deficit, your follow-up question is never,
How much did you have to drink?
I'm just asking to be treated with respect.
Oh, and also more articles in your dining section on goat recipes and goat blood pairings.
Thank you for your time.
Ernesto.
Diet Hansel.
Back when I was starting out as a witch, I could eat anyone I wanted.
No regrets.
I still watched what I ate, but that was just to be sure they didn't escape.
Ah!
I spoke to a nutritionist recently, and you wouldn't believe how many calories are in a single serving of orphan.
And it turns out Eye of Newt and Total Frog are loaded with triglycerides.
In the future, I'm surely children raised on healthier foods.
I replaced my gumdrop doorbell with a sugar-free lozenge.
Ding,
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 Ding, ding.
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 I was going to shingle the roof with rice cakes, but the homeowner society has very strict candy construction rules.
It could be worse.
A giant I know recently found out he's allergic to gluten.
And you catch him muttering,
Be
Fine!
"Bo!"
I smell the blood of an Englishman.
Be he alive.
Or be he dead!
I'll grind his bones.
To make my...
Aww.
The werewolf whisperer.
So your buddy went hiking alone.
Got bit by a werewolf.
And now transforms into a bloodthirsty beast?
Don't worry.
You have lost a friend.
You've gained an amazing pet.
Who cares if your neighbor's dog can fetch the paper?
Your werewolf can fetch the paper boy.
Women love seeing a guy with a dog.
So won't you make a better impression? If you're with a guy.
Who is a dog?
Gremlin's owner's manual.
Congratulations!
You are the proud owner of a pet mogwai. Should I provide you with hours of adorable fun?
As long as you adhere to the following rules.
Which we are legally obligated to provide to you. To absolve uniquepets.com of any and all liability in the case of, say, a gremlin takeover of your idyllic town. Rule number 1, never get your mogwai wet.
Rule number 2, keep your mogwai away from bright lights.
Rule number 3, never let him eat after midnight.
Rule number 4. Never let him go swimming at least half an hour after he's eaten and before midnight.
Rule number 5, make sure he takes his vitamins.
Rule number 6, never let him use a salad fork for the entree.
Rule number 7, never let him go outside with wet fur.
Rule number 8. Make sure you wear sunscreen at the beach.
I'll level with you.
You can pretty much assume that at some point your mogwai is going to turn into a gremlin.
The preferred term is gremlinade.
So let's assume your pet gremlinates. Which brings us to rule number 10.
Kill your gremlin.
Grew of Frankenstein.
Thank you for meeting with us to discuss our pending nuptials, Pastor Griffinhagen.
Some people think that love like ours should be illegal.
But I don't care what anyone says.
I married my Frankenstein.
I don't judge my Frankenstein by what's rotting on the outside.
But what's rotting on the inside?
And if you can't accept that a man could be deeply in love with another man by the body parts of other men,
Then maybe
You're
the one with the twisted brain of a criminal.
I'm shocked at the prejudice we've experienced.
we moved to Berkeley because we heard it was more accepting.
But apparently their version of tolerance only applies to gay people.
These hypocrites don't even seem to care that he runs on clean electricity.
I want to be sure everything's perfect for the wedding.
It's the biggest day of my life. Although parts of my Frankenstein have been married before.
It was difficult finding a baker willing to make one of the plastic rooms on the cake out of the body parts of several other plastic rooms.
We also have to register early at Bed Bath & Body Parts.
So I can finish putting together the best man.
The biggest obstacle we still face is deciding on the ceremony, since my Frankenstein is...
Half Methodist.
Half Catholic.
And one of his arms is Jewish. That's why in addition to meeting with you, Pastor, we're also meeting with Father O'Grady and Reverend Marmelson.
Would you be willing to perform the ceremony with them?
Before you answer, I should mention, we only have the budget to hire
One.
officiator.
So my plan is to stitch the three of you together into a single religious figure.
If it's any incentive.
You would get to read the vows.
When I flipped coins earlier to determine who would be which part,
You were lucky enough to get heads.